Hey, hello, 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 hello. Wow. Hey, Dean, good to see you, Dean. This is going to be a good one. Yes, absolutely. Nothing gives me more joy than to see women like myself walking away from toxicity, walking away from the religions that told us that we were less than. Nothing gives me so much joy than to see women. Oh, it gives me just the warm, fuzzy feeling just to see that happening. And guess what's gonna happen? There's going to be more of us coming. It's the start. It is the start of many more people. But before I continue, hey Theo, good to see you. Dean, good to see you. Question: can you guys hear me okay? That is the question. Do you hear me okay? Do you hear me okay? Just let me know so we can get started. Sound is good. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, guys, listen. Yes, thank you, Theo. Theo, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Right. Um, guys, what do you know about religion and women? What are your ideas? Religion and women. How does religion treat women? What does religion tell women they should do, how to behave, and who they should be subject to? And so, for women to start to realize, like myself, you've been busy, but doing fine. I'm glad to hear that. Right. So, for women like myself to say, okay, hang on a second. How is this a God doing this to us? How is this a God saying we can do these things, but these we cannot do, and that we cannot do? We've got to be subject. Oh, we have to be under there somewhere while the man is above us. Like, how do you... So, without much ado, a drum roll. I want you all to, if you can clap, clap. If you can just listen. This is a lady that I've met on TikTok, and just, oh, she's adorable. And let me tell you, she has got quite the story. She has got quite the story. You wait and listen. Um, a woman who is for religion is like a chicken who is for KFC. Mm, 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 mm. Ah, that thought. My goodness. My goodness. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring on my beautiful lady, the ex-church girl.
Hello there. Thank you.
Hello. Hold on. I think I have got there's something I might have here. Let's see. Where did it go? Yes.
That's
That's it. That's it. That's
uh,
it. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Hello. My, you look amazing.
thank you, thank you. So do you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. It is such a joy to see women living religion. It against all odds, against everything, against the threats that has been given to us by these religions, against everything. We are staring them in the face and saying, we're
Yeah.
saying, exactly, we're saying, yeah, you have that. You have that. But Sophie, you're absolutely welcome. And thank you for coming on here to share with us your story. Well, first of all, I, I've told you a little bit about how I got to where I am right today, how
Yeah.
I'm, how I got here, and so it's my mission to continue to um, expose the lies of the religion, and as part of that is people like yourselves sharing your journeys, hoping that your story will inspire somebody, inspire somebody who is questioning, inspire somebody who is thinking, this doesn't sound right, this doesn't feel right, this isn't. So, yes, thank you. First of all, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Sophie. I'm the ex-church girl. I live in Georgia. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. Have was indoctrinated into religion for decades, and I'm telling you, coming out of religion is like leaving a fire. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you feel like you're going through what the term they use is hell. It feels like you're on an island by yourself. You have no support system. You feel lost. You feel confused. You don't know which way to go. And this is why these type of communities that you have, Afro, is so important. It's so important to have these and people of color coming out of the church. That's an oxymoron. It doesn't match up. We're not supposed to be leaving religion. We're supposed to be stuck there forever and a day.
You're absolutely right. You are, um, we are an anomaly. We are not the usual. We're not. We're setting a precedent because many black women are in the church. Many, they're in the church. That's where you will find them. And today, Saturday, they're usually yeah, busy doing something in the church. So, how long were you a Christian?
Wait, say that again. You faded in and out a
I,
little bit.
I'm sorry. I think my network is acting up. Hold on one second. Where did it go? Just give me a minute. I was just asking, how long were you a Christian?
Ooh, I am 59 now. I stopped at 50. It was either 54 or 55 years old. So that was recently.
Right.
So from the age of like, I remember going to church maybe like 8 years old, 9 years old. So that my whole life.
Wow. And you're 59 now.
I'm 59 now, and I just left the church for good. Uh, Probably like 2018, 19. No, 2019. That's recently.
About 5 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's been like 5 years. Yep, coming up on
Okay.
5 years.
Just hold on one second. I'm not sure what's going on. It looks like the connection is bad. Give me a minute. Let me sort this out. Give me a minute. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it looks like hold on. Just give me a minute. Let's sort
Okay.
this out once and for all so that it's not. Wow, what is that next? Okay. Hopefully this is better. Okay. Right. Sorry about that. I think
Okay.
my connection was a bit bad, but this
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 is
looks like this looks like it's a lot better. Okay. I'm sorry. So
okay.
were you born to a Christian family?
I was
Sophie, can
born
you hear
into a
me?
Christian family. My mom, who had been separated from my dad forever, was a Christian. But my grandmother was a Christian. So everybody was Christian. And that's pretty much all I knew. I knew I had to go to church. I remember being in church Like my first memories of church are like 8 or 9 years old, and I remember wearing like this long dress the same dress every Sunday to church because we were sanctified. So
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah, sanctified Holy Ghost filled church, but our lives then my mother's and grandmother's lives didn't line up with being sanctified and holy because outside of the church, my grandmother cursed my grandfather out. She flipped the bird to people when she drove. My mother was having boyfriends outside of the church. So people wear long dresses. That doesn't mean anything. I think we
No.
fall into this trap of being labeled something and we want to live up to it to please this invisible deity. So I grew up in a church, and my first pastor that I remember was a white man, Caucasian guy that looked like Jesus, the picture of Jesus.
Mm.
That was my first memory of my first pastor, who, um, let's see, was he married? He married a black lady in the church with several children. That's who he ended up marrying. I remember this because I remember him getting up one Sunday saying that the lady was, "You're gonna be my wife," and they end up getting married like that, like that. And I remember just going to church. Church was playtime for me as a child. Like I didn't have a concept of what church was supposed to be. It was just something to do every Sunday. And then we were there from like 9 in the morning till we had we come back in the afternoon about 3 o'clock. So you were there all day on Sunday, which is ridiculous in itself. And that was my first memory of church. And I remember having to learn scriptures and Bible verses. And then my grandmother and mother told us that if we didn't learn them, we'd get a whipping or, and I tried to remember the easy one, like Jesus wept. I got criticized and beat with a switch for that because that was too easy to remember. So we have this idea that being a Christian is supposed to be this perfect life, but growing up in the church, most people who grew up with Christian families, they were like beat, mistreated, toxic, and we become
Mm.
just like our community in the church, toxic. Our relationships outside the church are just as toxic as the ones in the church. But that's all I knew. I just knew you
Mm.
had to be in church, no matter what. You had to be in church. Like that was a priority. So as I got older, I tried to sway away from the church, but I had people. Um, my mother was telling me, "Oh, you need to go to church." My grandmother was telling me, "Oh, you need to go to church." But the thing that drove my grandmother from the church was when I lost two uncles in 1 week due to heat exhaustion. They were drinking and they got they unalived because of that. They were both heavy drinkers. The
Oh,
pastor
wow.
have their services because they were not members, and that's what
Sorry,
made
say that again. Say that again.
my grandmother left her church with the Caucasian pastor because he would not have services for my two uncles who had unalived due to heat exhaustion because they were not members of my grandmother's church, of our church. They were not members, so he would not do their services.
Oh no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
so that left a bitter taste in her mouth. And she was out of church probably a year or two after that, and then she went to a Afro American church.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I thought she was through with the church, but at some point she did get I'm trying to remember, was that the last time no, it wasn't the last time she went to church, but it left a bitter taste in her mouth for the church.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
You know, it saddens me. And this is one of the things how we accepted abuse. We accepted very manipulative behavior. We accepted controlling behavior. How is a pastor able to say to somebody, because your folks didn't come to the church, so therefore I'm not taking the service? Shouldn't that be a time when a preacher, pastor, whatever they call in themselves, should be the time when they're meeting people at their need? Whether you're a member of the church or not, you should be able to show some human empathy, something. But my goodness, I I mean, can you imagine, Sophie, that some people would have still carried on going to that church.
Yeah,
They would still.
but people kept going there because they felt like, I think at some point we really believed that God was going to come and save us and help our misery here on earth. Like the goal was to get to heaven, remember?
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry Walk, for saying that. Our goal was to get to heaven no matter what we had
Um,
experienced here on
just
earth.
a quick one. Have
Mm-hmm.
you got headphones at all? Got
Uh,
earphones? Because it seems like there's an echo. Because
oh,
the room where you are, I can tell that it's like an empty room, and
yeah.
so this sound is bouncing back.
Oh,
I mean, I can turn your camera on for a minute if you need to get it. Or no,
I don't have any headphones, no.
that's fine.
Yeah, I
That's
just
fine.
moved in here, so it's kind of like an echo.
Oh goodness. Right.
Yeah.
So it's sounding, you can tell that it
Yeah.
is yeah. Okay.
It's,
Is it a really big place?
oh, it's a nice size. It's decent size.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds
13
it's
square.
that place sounds big.
So,
Okay, which is everyone just we just yeah, there's that little like an echo in the back, but it's perfectly okay. We will continue. My people, they all understand.
okay.
But hey, Robin Robin says I left religion around the same time. Do you know
Hmm.
I'm about 5 years in myself, so
Oh,
about the same time as you.
yeah.
I'm around 5 years, a 5 year mark. So, what? Wait, was there something in our water? Was there something? Was there something in our water? Because around about the same time, when you said that, that's what I was counting 2019. That's about the same time I started, the journey myself. And so, that I will have to go back and go and see whether there was something happening round about that time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but Robin, I mean, Robin, if you're ready, if you're willing and you would like to share your story, yes, I would love to hear it. Absolutely. Because listen, what I'm doing, is about just your everyday person, how they're waking up and realizing that we were lied to. We were lied to, right? And Dean says African women are taking back the power that religion stole from them. More power to
Mhm.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Get walk. How are you? Um, maybe so. Hey, I look forward to that. Okay, so what was it that did it for you?
Ooh, what did it for me? Like years and years. I tried to stop going to church, but I felt that guilt, shame, and condemnation. So I would stop going to church for weeks at a time, months at a time, and then I end up going back. But
Mm,
at some point, I got to the point that I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying my 10% in tithes. I'm not, my life is not improving.
mm,
I filed bankruptcy several times. Where is this God who says he loves me? Where is this one that says he'll never leave me nor forsake me? Where is this deity that says if I worship and praise him day and night, and pray without ceasing, that he will answer my prayers? He says the prayers of a righteous man or woman are whatever that scripture is about that. But it's like
avail it much.
avail as much. Yes, thank you. I mean, I
Avail
had
it
the book of
much.
prayer. I was adamant about letting this deity reveal himself to me, and he never did. The
Mm,
final straw was when, in 2019, when I went to a small church here in Georgia, and the worship leader led me back to Christ because I had been out of church since I left, pretty much since I left Georgia. 2013, I came here and went to a Methodist church. I thought I wanted to be a Jew, a black Jew. I thought I wanted to be a Jehovah's
oh,
Witness. So I was searching for God somewhere. I wasn't just going to give up. I was searching high and low. I was looking for him. Where are you? Where are you? Where art thou? I never found him. So the final straw
mm,
in 2019 was when this worship leader led me back to Christ, and a female, and she tried to hit on me.
oh,
That was it. That was
No.
strong. Yeah, that was it. And I took it to the pastor. He said he claimed that we should meet together and talk about it. And he just kept putting me off. After the third call to him, I left the church and never looked back.
Wait, wait. The person who was leading you to Christ was trying to hit on you.
Hmm. Yeah. And nobody in the church believed me. They all said I was lying.
Oh
One of the
no, I'm so
other ladies in the
sorry.
church, she called me and checking on me. And I said, well, sister so and so was trying to hit on me. She said, "You're stop saying that. You're lying." Because this lady led me
No.
to Christ to try to be. We were meeting once a week, and when I told her I didn't want to meet with her anymore after I got baptized, she started like calling me, harassing me. Eventually, I had to do a police report. Eventually, I had to file charges. And the bad part is that we worked together. She worked night shift. And then she started emailing me when I blocked her calls. The lady was literally harassing me. The job, she had
Oh
been, both
God.
had been on the job a couple of years, but she had been there longer than me. They just said, you have to be professional. We'll just keep her away from you. We'll have the supervisor count with you if she has to come up to your floor. And the church never did anything about her behavior. They didn't believe me. The pastor never addressed it. I said, forget that. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done.
Mm,
I'm done with these fake churches, with these people sitting up here lying. And because she wanted me to, the lady was being inappropriate.
right.
And that was the last straw. I'm like, this mess is all fake and phony. A worship leader, and she, the pastor does his hand a certain way, and they go up, with the praise and worship, or they come down according to. That's not spirit led. And I started paying more attention, and I'm like, this is all fake. That was
Yeah.
straw. That was the last straw. That was a nail that put the hammer that put the nail in the coffin, because I couldn't take it anymore. I could not take the fact that I was wasting my money, time, and energy in these fake churches, and my life was a complete toxic mess. But
Mm,
because I was so spiritual, I wanted to believe something different. I wanted to say, maybe this really isn't happening. Maybe God will reveal himself to me one day. And then I kept feeling empty after church for decades. I would go to church on,
mm,
come home in the afternoon and feel like, what did I just wasted 2 hours in church, and I was feeling so empty. Like it was an empty feeling of just, what, what am I doing all this for? And I kept experiencing that. And I'm like, this is something that's going on. My body's telling me that this is
mm,
something
mm,
is
mm,
not right here. You cannot go and clap your hands and worship God for 2 hours and come home and be like, that's it. I kept saying, that's it. Every Sunday for weeks, months at
wow.
a time, I kept saying, this is all I get. That's it. I said, there's got to be more out there. This doesn't make any sense. I've been in church my whole life. What am I missing? And when
Mm,
that worship leader approached me like that and had other intentions, fake intentions for my life, I just said, I can't do this anymore. I refuse to
no.
live fake.
Mm. You know something? When just hearing you describe the feeling of going to church and you come back and you ask yourself, so what was all that about?
Yeah.
For the most part, we went because we had to go.
Mm-hmm.
We went because if you didn't go, somebody was going to be angry, someone was going to be upset. So there
Mm-hmm.
was an obligation, right, to go, not because we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go. And we came back. It's as though we just wasted our time. You
Mm-hmm.
find a lot of Christians, right? I've spoken to quite a few Christians who don't even bother going to church anymore.
Mm-mm.
They don't bother because they would rather stay home and be Christian at home,
Yeah.
because they too, they see all the issues in church, see all the problems in the church, and um
Yep.
you have to ask the question, how is Jesus watching all these things happen in church and he's not doing anything about it? I mean, look
Mm-mm.
at what happened with you, right? nobody believed you.
Nobody believed it. Nope. But my son believed it. My youngest son believed me. He said, "Mom, I believe you." His fiance at that time, who's now his wife, believed me because they were around me. They knew I would never just make up a random lie like that. Like I would never come
Mm,
up with something that vogue, that vague, that atrocious to talk about another woman in the church, especially. Why would I come up with something like that just to trample on her name like that? But I had to tell my truth, and my truth was not accepted. And that's what made me angry with the church. They don't want you to tell your truth. They want you to keep pretending like you're fake and phony and just go with the flow. Keep forgiving at 7 times 77. Keep
mm,
turning the other cheek. No, I will not. I refuse to live like that. I've lived like that my whole life because I was indoctrinated. I had to live like that because that's what I grew up believing. And somebody asked a question about, has a guilt and shame in religion been applied to other areas of your life? When I was in the church, once I left the church, I started to stop feeling guilty about living my true life, my authentic life. For the first time in my life, I'm 59 years old, I can live
mm,
authentically. I can
mm,
tell people how I feel. I don't have to be angry, bitter, and apologetic for my truth. I can be
mm,
free. I was not free in the church. The church would not allow me to be free. They kept me tied to their toxicity. But that's all I knew. And coming out, I fought it for decades. I said, no, there's a God. He exists. I believe you're out there somewhere. But
mm.
he never revealed himself to me. He never showed me. He never showed up and showed out like the church claims he would do. I was claiming and naming prosperity. I was a prosperity preacher. My preacher was Pastor Bill Winston.
No way.
Yes, that was my
What?
in Forest
Oh
Park,
my
ma'am.
goodness. That was your preacher?
That was my preacher. Yes,
Did
yes.
you give tithe as well?
Of
One
course,
tenth. Did you?
raise that little white
Wow.
envelope every week and say, you know, whatever that little prayer is, you raise your arm. That's another thing. Churches need to stop that. Stop embarrassing people who don't have envelopes to raise.
Mm,
Because some people don't have an envelope to raise. But I believe
mm,
that if I gave my 10%, even though I didn't have it all the time, I didn't have that 10% to give. I
mm,
gave it because I was expecting a return. I remember one time I gave the tithes of $240, and the family member, we had taken care of their mom who transitioned. She was a sweetie. We loved her. And the sons bought us a check for $250 that Sunday. So I was like, oh, God is revealing himself. The man was going to give us a check either way. Like, God had nothing to do with that. So
mm,
God had nothing to do with that. And then I was missing work sometime because I felt like I was needed in the church. See, the church set me up to say the world needed me. Then I needed to help save the sinners out there in the world. Yet I had two ways of living. I'm going to be transparent. I had a
mm.
churchy way of living, and I had a worldly way of living.
Oh,
Because
oh, oh, oh.
churchy way was a stagnant, artificial way of living. My true self was over here, and I didn't know how to balance out the two. I
Mm.
kept that churchy religious girl stuff over here. But after church, don't think I wouldn't cuss you out if you cut me off in traffic. Don't think I wouldn't put the bird on you. Don't think I wouldn't tell my job what to do and what to say how to get there.
Ah.
I even quit a job because they would not let me have every Sunday off. That's how
Oh,
crazy I was. I was a zealot for years.
wow.
I was telling
Mm,
people job to get saved. God is coming back. I wanted to be this person who saved women.
mm.
I wanted to save women,
Wow.
and I couldn't even save myself. I wasn't truthful with what I was seeing. I think when you're in the church, you want others to come in and join you because you feel like that's all you have to offer them. You don't have and we're very judgmental. I was very judgmental in the church. I was like, oh no, I only associated with people I knew that loved God, or even though one of my friends didn't go to church, she went to church every blue moon. I would say like that, but
Mm,
I had to be around Christian people because to me they understood where I was coming from. They understood that I was a religious woman. uh, they understood that I wanted to be Christ-like, but
Mm.
at the same time, I was Sunday evening, maybe Monday, I was okay. By Wednesday, I had to get back to Bible class to get a refill. And see, the church sets you up and say you have to be refilled every week. Refilled with what? You're not being refilled with anything. You're empty.
Mm.
And that's why people keep going back to church. If they're really honest with themselves, they keep going back to church because they're getting that empty feeling and they don't know why they keep having to go back. Like it's like your car is running out of gas every Saturday night, every Tuesday night. So you're in church, you're constantly in church. You're looking, you're searching, you're hoping that you get that one message that will get you through until the next service. And that's all it is because they even tell you, oh, we'll see you next week. They have it set up so that you have to keep coming back. Church is the only
That's
place
right.
that this. Church is the only place that you never graduate from. You go, you go,
Ah,
you go, nonstop. There's never a graduation ceremony.
wow. I love that. I love when you say that church is the one place that you never graduate from. And
Mm-hmm.
the Bible also encourages that you need the company of people. It tells you to fellowship, to dwell with the people, something along those lines. I forget it all by Bible passages. But there was something you said about living. It's a double standard. It
Yeah,
that double standard,
yeah.
right? It is the hypocrisy,
Mm-hmm.
and there is, as far as I am concerned, God's bar is set so high, no one can attain his level of righteousness that he wants. He
Yeah.
even tells you in his book, he tells you that on a good day, on your best day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your righteousness is like filthy rags.
Yeah.
On your best day, you are at the bottom. You are no good. You are when a God tells you that your most righteous is like filthy rags to him, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So no matter how you try, you just will never be good enough for God. And
Mm,
so you're trying to fit. It's like trying to fit a round a round peg into a square, no, a square peg into a round hole.
mm-hmm.
It's not going to fit. There's that you who wants to just be free, who just wants to be you, who wants to, just experience the world as you. But then there is that religion, there is that Bible, there is that preacher, there are those church members that are telling you that no, that you who wants to come out, they tell you to lock that in, keep that locked in. Rather, we want the hypocritical you. We want that uh uh um the one that save face you. At some point, those two will clash.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you find a lot of pastors caught in adultery, caught in with
Yep.
same sex scandals, right?
Yep.
You find all these things going on, and it will continue because we are creating a culture of people who are not true to themselves by
That's
these religions. And so, I mean, now, would you say that you are able to just live your truth?
finally I'm able to live my truth. It's been
Yes.
hard though because leaving the church is like leaving your some family members behind.
Mm,
It's
mm,
hard
mm.
in the sense that that was your sense of community for so long. Like you lived that fake life so long that it became a truth to you. And again, that double standard of living, and that's why people I have to talk about that because that's why pastors are in the back door places trying to live their authentic selves instead of just being marrying people they don't love. Uh,
Mm.
that they don't get caught doing because that's their true self, that's a true life. But they have to give that persona that God has made me this, and they're this. So it's hard to leave the church when, for me, for a while, and sometimes I still struggle with the loss of the community. I struggle with being an Afro-American woman out of the church because
Mm.
what else would I have? What else would I do on my Sundays? Now I just chill and relax and watch TikTok. But if for a long time I was like, I have a Sunday free. What the heck am I going to do with my Sunday? Like, what do I do with myself on Sundays and Wednesdays? I'm not a church member anymore. And you struggle with that, knowing that you did it for so long. And then I started to feel angry. I'm like, wait a minute, I wasted all those years going and sit up in somebody's church waiting on prosperity. My pastor was a prosperity, he was a businessman. So he has a Joseph Business School. He has a cafe at the church. Of course, they have an ATM in the lobby. He bought the mall at a discount price. He was able to buy that whole mall and convert it to commercial real estate. So, do I have access to that right now? No. So, of course, and I Googled him the other day. He's worth $10 million. His net worth is 10 million.
Wow.
So, based on that alone, we strive for what we see our pastors have, but they don't tell us the truth. They tell
Mm.
us that they have other things going on. He writes books, he does CDs, he charges for CDs after church. You don't get a free CD, you pay for that CD. You
No,
know,
but
free.
the majority of their money comes from the people.
Right.
How many books do you think pastors sell? How many books do people buy?
Pastor Bill Winston has he has a bookstore too at the church. I forgot to mention that.
Has
And
he gone? Okay.
yeah,
Oh yeah, true. Pastor Bill Winston, he
hmm
is one of the big ones. To be
yeah,
fair, he is
yeah,
one of the big ones. Oh
yeah,
yeah, he is one of the
yeah,
big guns.
yeah.
He's up
He's a
there.
big, he's a big
He's
gun
up there.
right there with there. He's friends with Kenneth Copeland, Leroy Thompson,
Oh
Creflo
yes.
Dollar,
Mm-mm.
T.D. Jakes, Jesse Duplantis. Like those are the big wigs of religion, and those are
Mm-hmm.
Joe
Mm-hmm.
Osteen. All of those are the big wigs. But the people that I mentioned, David Aitapo, you know about him? He's come
This
to, yeah. When I heard him preach at one of our conferences, um, he was amazing. Like I see why people flock to him. He's very charismatic.
wait,
Uh,
hang on. David Oyedepo is charismatic.
yeah, to me.
Okay, I must be missing something. Okay, all right. I mean,
Well, I was just in awe that a Nigerian pastor could have. He has one of the largest churches in Nigeria, right?
he's the richest.
The richest, yeah. So to
He's the
me,
richest.
you have to be charismatic to pull that kind of
True,
the
true.
people in, because most of these big wiggers, it's just something about them. They look like very powerful. They come across as very powerful men, and I think that's why a lot of them are like TD Jakes has been exposed now because they have that double
Mm,
life.
mm,
They have those lives
mm.
that they're leading secretly behind the walls, and I think that people need to stop trying to be these perfect Christians and live an authentic life because you're not living your life if you're living a double life. You
Yeah,
need to
you're
pick
not.
a side.
You are not. And so, where do you stand now with your belief in God? Um, I do not believe in God. I do not. And not only do I not believe in God, even if a God is found to exist, I do not care for God. I will live the rest of my existence, the rest of my existence. There's no other existence, but I would live the rest of my existence without a God. I have completely cancelled out God. God
Mm-hmm.
will never be a part of my life. So even if you find a God, just keep him away from me.
Right.
Right? That's where I am with God. So where are you right now with the God concept? It is a concept after all.
I don't believe there's God per se. I just believe there's a higher power. The universe, I believe in the universe, which existed way before we started talking about God. The universe has been here for billions of years. Sometimes I just wake up and say, thank you, universe, because that's the way I give ode to a higher power. I believe there's a higher power, but I don't believe it's a God. I don't believe a God would, something that great would want you to bow down to it, cry and feel guilty, shame, and condemnation because you exist. Like that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that a God would cause you, tell you to build his kingdom. Like, does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. I don't
Mm.
believe in God. I believe in just the universe. I believe that the universe exists, that he's out there, he's available to us, and that's pretty much what I believe. I don't believe there's a God. So, and then somebody asked a question, you care to share one difference between your true self versus the other? My true self is I don't let people walk on me. I don't turn the other cheek. I tell you, I'm straightforward, straight and to the point. I hold no punches. When I tell you something, it's from my heart. I don't try to sugarcoat anything. If you stepped on my toe, I'm gonna say, "Ouch! You stepped on my toe." I'm not gonna be like,
Mm.
"Oh," like I used to do in the church, trying to like I was the best Christian and trying to be this perfect person. No, if you stepped on me, you offended me. I'm gonna tell you you offended me. I'm gonna tell you what you did, and you can either take it or leave it.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says if you're slapped on the one cheek, you should turn the other cheek to receive the second slap. Would you be turning a cheek if someone come along now and smacked you on the cheek? What will your response be?
I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm gonna slap the hell out of them. I'll take it off the floor. We can talk, and they can tell me why they did it.
Oh.
because because I was just so forgiving as a Christian, and that's what led me to all those toxic relationships. It led me
Mm.
3 abusive relationships, I don't know if I can say that word, but 3 mistreatments in relationships because I felt like I was a Christian woman who's going to change a man. I was a Christian woman who's going to make him a better man. I was a Christian woman who's going to make him uh, forget everything else he had did in life and convert him over to the way I was thinking and living. That doesn't work. You have to meet people where they are, and if there's something you can't deal with, leave them alone. Let them go. And I think when I was in those relationships, I stayed in them so long. A day too long was too long because I was in a toxic relationship with the church. The church was so
Mm.
toxic to me. And when I got on TikTok, I started talking about how toxic the church relationships were because they don't allow you to be true. They don't allow you to voice your opinion. They just want you to shut up and take what they give you. Like, don't question anything. Who is in a relationship that won't question anything? That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
That's
But,
ridiculous.
but but that's the relationship you're supposed to have as a Christian with God. How dare you question God? He created you, right? How dare you? I mean, it's his will. He willed it. So you're just supposed to take it,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
just just accept it.
yeah.
And God hates divorce, right? For myself, I stayed in an abusive marriage longer than I should have. Why? God hated, well, at the time, God hated divorce, and there was no way out. I was basically told that his behavior towards me could have been something that I wasn't praying hard enough. The pastor told me to go and double up on my prayers, pray some specific ones, maybe my change my change tact, change the prayer points and the things that I was praying about, change the whole thing, fast, do all this and do all that. Hello. But the pastor pastor never really took his time to talk to the man. He never took his time to say, "Hey, mister, could it be something that you're doing?" He couldn't see any fault with him because he's the man. The man can't do no wrong, And so it was always the woman. It was always I could tell a lot of stories when it came to abuse from the preachers themselves, right? How they expected you to be in the church, they expected you to clean, they expected you to do all these things in the church, and you were just supposed to take whatever abuse you were getting, right? Because that is what they think you are. They tell you, oh, they tell you that touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm, right? You can't talk back to preacher. You can't do anything, but they can do whatever they want with you. And on top of that, you've got to give them your money.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the abuse you get in church, you still have to fund the church.
Yeah.
Oh, I could tell a few stories. I could tell I, yeah, I don't want to. There's a particular story. I will take my time and share this. But this particular story, I it nearly ended me
Mm.
in the church. What the church did to me, I would never forget. I stood by the train tracks. I
Mm.
stood by the train tracks, and I was going to end it, but the baby inside me kicked.
Mm.
The church made me feel that small because I had a child that, and I wasn't married. They made me feel that small. They brought me out to the front of the church, announced my pregnancy to the church, and said, "A sin has been committed in the church." Those were the words. I still remember them, right? Brought me to the front. I didn't even know it was going to happen. I, I didn't know it was going to happen. I just heard, silly me, Christian girl, early 20s, thinking, gosh, I find myself pregnant. Um, I need spiritual advice. What do I do? I'm going to keep this baby, but what do I do? I went to the the pastor because I thought, okay, if anybody, I'm safe here. If anyone, I'm safe here. Never had a baby before. I'm in a country, in a foreign country. Have no friends as such. You know, life is bad. Go to church. Church should be my haven. So I thought, and so the pastor asked me, "Are you coming to church tomorrow, Sunday?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Come to church." And I was just a church member. I wasn't one of the leaders or anything. I was just because I knew I had that boyfriend who I was seeing, and so I wasn't wholly righteous enough to be taking part in any activities. I stayed back. All I did was go to church on a Sunday. That's all I did. And so here I was sitting down at the back when I heard my name being called out. I was asked to come to the front. Pregnancy announced to the whole church. It was bad. It was bad. They made me feel like I I was the one who sacrificed Jesus.
The church.
But thankfully, I can look back now and say, yeah, it was an experience.
The church. Yeah, that's what they do. They call you out when you you be real with yourself and try to be real with them. They call you out. They call you out and say, "Oh no, I can't accept that about you. You're pregnant, or you're having an affair with somebody." As many people who have DM'd me on TikTok and said they had affairs with married pastors. And that's
Mm.
why I had to talk about that double life, that double standard of being a Christian on these days and being in the world on these days, because they don't allow you to be your authentic self. You have to be something fake to exist in the church. And all these pastors telling people to stay in bad relationships. How dare you?
Mm. Yes.
Stop telling women to stay in these bad relationships. Stop telling them God will work it out when people are being unalived every single day for staying in toxic relationships like the church is toxic to them. Stop telling people that you're not praying enough. Stop telling women and men that. It's taking people out of the world. God is not coming to save them. Let people go get mental health help so that they can live a true, authentic life.
Mm.
Pastors don't have a right to be counseling their members. Leave those people alone. Let them go get some real help, because
Yes.
they're always going to tell you something out of that stupid Bible.
Mm.
Tell them, let them go get some real domestic violence help.
Yes.
Stop trying to tell them they owe their husband that every week. Stop telling them that.
Mm. Mm.
And they stay and they get unalived. Women and men, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you are in a toxic relationship, those relationships go from 0 to 100 in a matter of seconds. I
Mm.
was just, I don't even know if the word lucky even is the right word for getting out of those relationships without being unalived. Because it could be any second that that person could totally snap off on you and you're out of here. So
Mm.
these pastors need to stop telling people that God will work it out. God is in charge. God is in control. No, he's not.
God is in control of what exactly? God is in control of what? I mean, look at the world. Everything God has done has failed. Everything God has done has failed. He created the devil and the angels. Look what happened. They turned against him. He got rid of Satan, right? But then decided to create man and leaves him right by his where his enemy lives, right? He then creates after creating man. Now, silly God goes ahead to create the tree that would destroy and condemn his own people, right? And then walks away when they're deceived by the snake. That failed. He wiped out the entire earth with water, yet it still failed. The people in Sodom and Gomorrah, he wiped everything out.
Mm-hmm.
He still failed. He went to Egypt, right? Did everything, did all the ten plagues, had the children of the Egyptians all taken out, right? Egyptian the children and the animal the children no the children of the people and animals, right? All taken out. But yet, did that change his people? Did that make them any better? No.
No,
He
no,
he sacrificed his own child. Has that made anything better? Everything that God has done has failed. God is a failure, an utter failure. That is, if the God exists, if he exists.
if he exists. Yeah. And the church needs to stop calling people out. Uh, Telling people to come up to the altar every week or calling out somebody else's sin while they're busy creeping around the corner, picking up prostitutes and other things. We know what they do on the side.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So stop criticizing, because those same pastors who criticize other people, calling people out for not paying their tithes, calling people out for not doing this, or you're sinning. Like, how dare you? Nobody is
mm.
perfect. Nobody's
Nobody.
no human being is perfect. And then in church, we were striving for perfection. We were striving for
But,
perfection, all right. We
but
were
what is
striving.
perfect? What is perfect?
What is
What
perfect?
perfect? What does that look like? What when you say perfect? What's that?
Oh, you're the Christian who goes to church every Sunday or Wednesday. You pay your 10% in tithes. You listen to your pastor. You basically worship your pastor because that's what perfect Christians do. You don't sin. You're waiting for marriage. You're waiting on your Boaz to come. That's another whole joke.
Mm,
Waiting
mm,
on
mm, mm,
Boaz
mm,
to
mm,
show up and
mm,
have you give you a relation. Oh, and I'm married to Jesus. Those are the things that make you a perfect Christian.
waiting for your Boaz. Some people have died waiting for their Boaz.
It's women on social media in their 70s still waiting for their Boaz to show up.
No, not in their
Yeah.
70s.
Yes. 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 In their
Waiting for
70s.
Boaz to show
Yep.
up in
Yeah.
this. Boaz ain't coming.
Yep. He's not
Boaz
coming.
is not. He's not coming.
People are waiting around saying, a lot of people are saying, young women are saying they're married to Jesus. What?
Yet.
What? Yeah, okay.
And
You're
you are.
married to him.
I mean, of all the things and all the persons you could be married to, you married to Jesus. I mean, there's a lot I could say about that, but hey, never mind. So question for you now is, how did your family? How did what were the reactions of your family and friends when you walked away from the church?
Wait a minute. First of all, I can't tell one set of my cousins because their father was my pastor for a short time. My uncle was one of my pastors. That's why I
Oh
started
goodness gracious!
at his church when I first started feeling an empty shell feeling. It started getting more rampant going to his church. So I cannot tell those cousins because my auntie, she's been a widow for a while now. I have not told them that I'm out of the church because they still go to church. And then my mother, I have not told my mom. My son and I have three children. I have an older son, I have a daughter in the middle, and my youngest son. Only my youngest son knows that I've left the church. So that's going to be an interesting. My family's from Chicago, so I'm in Georgia. So that's going to be an interesting
Do you
conversation.
have to? Do you have to tell them anything?
I mean, I don't have to, but if they ever
You don't
found
have
out,
to.
tell them. But they'd be like, why? They'd probably be like, because they've all grew up in the church, so that's all they know. They be on Facebook saying, "Thank God for this, thank God for another day," and I just be liking and loving it. Does that make me fake? No, because I have to. I'm accepting the fact that they still love God. I don't ever want to taint nobody else's. If they come to me and ask me why, I would tell them why. But I don't want to taint nobody else's experience. You know what I mean? Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes, yes,
hmm?
yes. It makes sense.
Yeah, because that's what they still believe. Because it took me a while when people were trying to tell me to leave. This God stuff ain't real. I was like, no, the devil's talking to you. It was like the devil's talking to you. He's taking
Get
over.
get thee behind me, Satan.
Get behind me, Satan. The blood of Jesus.
Oh, Shandara Baba Baba. So, for me, my family, they're all still religious, on all of them. And when I say my family, I'm talking about my brothers, my sister, my cousins, uncle, very religious, very religious. And so every time I'm with them, I never talk about whatever I talk about here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I bring up in conversation at all.
Good.
If they start to speak about God and speak about, they know my position because I came out. I came out of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of the no, seriously. I came out of the religious closet.
Yeah.
Yes, I tell you what I did when I stopped believing in this God thing. Um, when I finally deconstructed hell. Hell was my was the biggest issue. The
Mm-hmm.
fear of going to hell was the biggest issue. But the moment I realized that hell was nothing but a fake idea, the
Mm-hmm.
moment that the moment it became clear that shit, there was no such thing, that was the moment I said, you know what? I'm an atheist and I don't care. Because if I could take down that particular, hurdle that plagued me all my life, then there's nothing, there's no stopping me. And so I started thinking, what do I do now? Um, I need to tell people because they need to know where I am. So with my immediate family, I sent a group chat,
Mm-hmm.
a group text to the group chat and said to them, "This is what's happening. I no longer believe." The only person who's ever had a conversation with me about my lack of belief, and she comes in my lives, she comes on my TikToks and she comes on my live sometimes, is my sister. She enjoys the conversations, and she has said to me that, look, everything you're saying is true because uh, um, um, some people have seen my videos and sent them to her. Oh, your sister's an atheist. Oh, and she has seen them and said, yeah, she, because what I did, I made sure to tell them. But she was the only one who's had a conversation with me about it, and she has said to me, that's all she knows. She doesn't know any other life, and for her, she's happy to just stay there. She's happy to just because it's comfortable. It's she's not ready to because she said if she goes into if she starts to deconstruct, she knows she will find problems and issues, but she chooses not to. And I said to her, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you. I said to her, as long as you know there are issues in the religion, she said she knows.
Yeah.
She sends me videos of people critiquing Christianity. She
Mm-hmm.
sends me those all the time. And so she knows. But for her, it's just no. I'm not prepared to take that next step. And which is absolutely fine, right?
Yeah.
The wider family, guess what I did? For the wider family and everyone else, guess what I did?
What did you do?
I put out a video.
Mm.
I put out a post. Well, not a video, it was a post on Facebook. You know, Facebook, you've got all your friends
Mm-hmm.
or your family. And yeah, it was on there. Bold statement. I no longer believe in God. I am now an atheist. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I had folks, my auntie, she rang me. My auntie said, do you know what an atheist is? I said, yeah, I know what an atheist is. And you're saying you don't believe in God? I said, yeah. Ah, no, 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 that can't be right. I said, yeah, auntie. I had to be polite. Just let her say what she wanted to say. But hey, so at first I started posting things on my Facebook and my Instagram, my personal Facebook and Instagram. But then I realized no, maybe don't do that. Just leave that as neutral and go to the other space, and I can do my thing there, because I think a lot of people family members started to have issues with some of the posts, because they're still religious and they're still there. So anyway, yeah, that's how my family handled it, and are still handling it till this day. But
Yeah.
I don't speak about it. If you don't ask me about my lack of belief, I don't talk about it. I don't. I'm not trying to recruit
Right.
family members. to atheism or to skepticism. No, that's something you do on your own.
Yeah.
So,
And like Jerwalk was saying, thank you, Jerwalk. He said it sounds like it could be hard. Support to you. Thank you for that. Because it's a conversation that could go left really quick, because that's all
mm, mm,
we've all known. Like my whole life I was in the church. Like there was nothing else that allowed me to get up every day unless God woke me up. That was my belief for decades. So
mm,
I'm not trying to recruit. I'm like you, Esther. I'm not trying to recruit people to be on this side like I did in the church. Like, oh, come to Jesus. No, I'm not doing that over here. If you see my message, you like what I'm saying, you'll follow me or whatever on TikTok, whatever, wherever platform I'm on. I don't recruit people. I don't go in people DMs telling them, oh, come over to this side, because I have this label as an atheist, but that's what they identify it as. But I'm just free to be me now. I think
there you go.
I don't have this religious label that says God will accept me if I'm like this, but if I live my true authentic self, I'm going to hell. Like that makes no sense. That would make no sense to me to live like that anymore. So I'm on this side as an atheist. That's the label the world gives me. I'm okay with it. Um, it is what it is. Like, but for me to try to recruit people to say, oh, this side seems to be a lot better, and you come into it's real life over here. No, they have to see that for themselves.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, and you just talked about your platform where you do go on to share. And so, guys, is it okay for me to show folks what you do on your platform
Yes,
on
absolutely.
TikTok? Okay, here we go, guys. So what I will do, I put her link in the chat. You got a TikTok account, please make sure to follow her, and yeah, let's keep the conversation going.
Thank you.
Right, so this is you are up. Let's see. Okay, no, this is just you announcing. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see, let's see.
Hey, Sean. It's the ex-church girl. So you want the truth, right? Sometimes we can't deal with the truth. Sometimes we just don't know what we want in life. We just can't figure it out. We haven't figured it out.
Hmm.
Sometimes we think we know what we want, and when we get it, it's not what we want. Like we're just so flaky sometimes that when something good comes into our life, we don't know how to accept it. We just wait for the other shoe to drop. We're waiting on something to go wrong. We're waiting on that person to switch up on us. So a lot of time when a good person comes into our lives, we're not ready. We say we're ready, but mentally, emotionally, we're not ready. And then we waste that person's time. We start to cry when that person tells us or checks us on something. We're not happy about it. We throw a tantrum. We get upset. We get angry. It's not our fault. It's their fault. They've triggered us. They've made us look. I didn't want to be this way, but he's clearly not the person for me, or she's not the person for me because they've triggered me. They've made me angry. And then we go through this phase of, feeling sorry for ourselves, finding somebody good again, and then we go through the cycle all over again. That's just my take on it.
Hmm. Words of wisdom. Let's see. Do we have any religious let's see. Um aha, let's see. Let's find something else. Wait, see what this is. Is it going to load? Nothing. I don't know why the video's not. Hold on. Why is it not
I
coming up?
music down on my videos. I've had to repost music on videos, so they started
Ah,
banning me and all kind of stuff. I was being too verbal.
oh goodness, goodness. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I hope it's
Hey
okay. Here we
guys,
go.
it's the
Here
ex
we go.
church girl. Recently, I have saw a lot of people online talking about what they're expecting out of a relationship. It's funny, like when we're in church, we have this limited view that God is our all in all, and He's going to be our husband. Jesus is my man, and we say all this stuff. But in reality, we don't have him here to protect us when we or to do things for us physically or mentally or emotionally. We just have this thought in our head that God is helping us along the way. It's kind of like a band-aid put on a deep open wound, and the secretions from the wound just keep oozing out because that band-aid is not enough to cover it. It's not enough to protect it. It's not enough to cleanse it. And that's all religion is when you say that, Jesus is your man or God is your man. He's your husband. When he cannot physically provide for you, he cannot pay bills, he cannot put money in your bank account, he cannot uh, take care of your car maintenance for you. He can't do the yard, like none of the above, right? None of those things he can do. But he can sit up and tell you to come to church every Sunday. Make sure you worship me. Make sure you worship me. Make sure you honor me. Make sure you worship me. And it's just all about him. It's such a narcissistic, one sided relationship. And I think we just have to come back to reality and say, you know what? Even though I believe that, I still need a man, a physical man here on earth to say, babe, I got this. I got your back. I love you. I honor you. I celebrate you. But in order for us to even get to that point, we also need to know how to celebrate, honor, and love ourselves. We need to know how to appreciate a man who does something for us, or anybody in general. We need to know how to appreciate people in general. But if we say we truly want a man in our lives, how are we demonstrating that? Are we being ugly and nasty to people that we don't even know in the streets? How are we drawing in love and success in relationships if we don't have that love and relationship, number one, with ourselves? Because we're still focused on the cognitive dissonance part of religion that taught us that, God was our all in all. No, he's not. He wasn't. He never was. And again, I say that one side relationship sets you up for failure in real relationships because now you're thinking that it's okay to have that one sided relationship with a man because, that's what it is. It is what it is. Or whoever you want to be in a relationship with. And a relationship should not ever be one sided. It's like talking to somebody and they don't respond back to you. What kind of relationship is that truly? What is it truly saying? What is it? What kind of relationship is that? If you talk to a person and they just effing ignore you, like, what is that? That's a relationship you don't want to be in too long. But yet, sitting up in the church, I was never one of those people that said God was my husband. Now, I didn't take it that far, but I heard several people say it over the years, and I'm hearing that stuff again. Like, people, we have to learn how to love and deal with each other. And there are some people you're going to cut off right away. Like, you're not going to want any explanation. You have to know who to cut off right away. You have to know who you give second chances to. Like, you all should have this already set in your mindset. And then you have to know which people are around for, as long as they don't do anything crazy or stupid to you or in your life. And then you have those people that are loving and kind, like you just have this one-on-one love and honor for each other, and you celebrate each other. And again, I say, I'm not going into a relationship ever again that I'm just tolerated in. I want to be.
This sounds very much like life experiences that you have had. And because these sound like words of wisdom. You talk about you talk about God is not your man. And you talk about instead of you looking to God to validate you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your fellow human. Now, there was something you said which I was thinking, okay, I need to ask you, because you said instead of that, look for a man to validate you. For some people, they might not be looking for men to validate them.
True. I
Yeah,
have to.
it might be a woman to validate. It might be anyone to validate. It could be, because one of the things which we were talking about earlier on is how religion controls people
Hmm.
sexually.
Yes, yes.
How religion
Yeah.
tells you that heteronormative um, you know ideas around sex and sexuality, right? This is all
Hmm.
very much a religion thing. And so when you come away from religion, you realize, wow, the world is your oyster. There is, look, the things that they told you you can't do, the things that they said, oh, this is a sin. It's not a sin.
Mm-mm.
There's no such thing as sin. You
No.
can do whatever the hell you want. But
Yeah.
of course, I believe in moderation. Just yeah, do what you need to do, but also have a level head about it as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts around how the church tells people man, woman, sex, babies?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
They definitely control your sex organs because they give you all these sermons on celibacy, Boaz, Ruth and What is it? Ruth and Esther, the Proverbs 31 woman. Like,
Oh goodness gracious me, I hate that Proverbs 31.
so I need to go back and redo that video because you see how religion still filters through your mindset as you talk after you've been out of it for a while. It's like a disease process. You're just getting rid of that disease that was in your brain. So I should have said, and I recently told a guy at work this. I said, you should love whoever loves you back,
Mm,
back. Whatever love
yes.
looks like to you, because we had this mindset that men, woman, man have children, but some of those relationships are so freaking toxic. Like it's,
Hmm.
and then we have this mindset that that's the only real relationship. And I have to go back and redo that, talk about that, because my mindset sometimes filters into that Christian nonsense, and then I forget when I speak that you know what, I'm like, my limited mind is still under that Christianity throne.
Yeah.
That's what that was. So I apologize for
No, 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 no. Please, there are no apologies at all. Right. I was just, curious what your
yeah.
position was, because I didn't think you would, and what where do you stand with sex and sexuality? Where do you stand right now? Coming away from religion, what's that looking like? Are you still not you now, but okay, imagine you were to meet a trans person, right? Um, you know, are you, of course, I think from all I've heard you say, would you support the right for people to just be themselves, whatever that looks like?
Absolutely. I think,
Promote, and stand for people,
yeah.
especially the marginalized people, the LGBTQIA. I am pro LG. I'm not only pro. I am a very strong. I'm out there. I'm out there, and I don't care who
Mm-hmm.
who who thinks what. I don't give a shit what you think, right? Because I believe that uh, uh, LGBT rights are human rights.
Mm-hmm.
Trans are human rights,
Exactly.
rights, and we have to, you know, together. Anyway, I'll let you speak on it.
Well, thank you for letting me discuss this issue. I want to tell you a quick story. My brother, my oldest brother, who died over 10 years ago, he was in the closet because he couldn't come out to us. He had started dating males, but he was always saying they were his friends. Um, and I just feel like it kind of hurts me sometimes. If we
I'm
had been
sorry.
uh, non-judgmental,
I'm
we could have
sorry.
enjoyed that time with him. I'm sorry. I could have had the whole experience with my brother instead of him
Mm.
hiding himself. And we had already knew we accepted him, but we never said anything. And he never said anything. So he left here thinking we didn't care about him because of who he was. So I have to give back to the world by saying trans people, they're not freaks. None of these people are freaks because they love somebody different. They're just being their authentic self. And I'm sorry.
No, please,
We lose
please.
experiences with people because we judge them as Christians. We lose that experience. We lose that time with them. They could take us to a bar. We could have the time of our life. But we were so judged. I was so judgmental. I couldn't enjoy those people. I couldn't enjoy the short time I had with my brother, because he knew we were judgmental. He knew that. So he hid an important part of himself away from us. So today, I've been in the bathroom with a trans. I knew it was a trans person. I smiled and I gave that person respect. It's not the normal for us. Who defines normal? We need to stop judging people. Let people live their lives. Let them have children. Let them have families if they choose to. Let them marry who they love. It's not for us. We are not the God in the jury. We need to stop it. We need to let these people live their authentic lives. And I wasted so much time judging and being this church woman that I lost years with my brother. And I didn't know I had a short time to be with him. I didn't know that he was going to pass on that quickly. Like, I thought I had all this time. We're supposed to be enjoying life together right now. He was a year older than me. He would have been 61. He left here in his, like, I think late 40s. He left here early. But I was so judgmental that I never got to experience. My brother loved my children. He loved his nieces and nephews. He loved us. He was a protector. It didn't take away his manhood because he loved another man. But yet we sit up and judge, say, oh, you're trans. I don't want you in the bathroom with me. You might do something to my. But straight people out here messing over kids every day. People in the church are messing over children every day because the label doesn't fit what we think is normal. So we have to judge it. That's why I stand on that issue. I let everybody be free to be who they are. I'm not the judge and the jury anymore. I never should have been. I never should have pointed the finger and said, you're not a real Christian. You believe in this. You're that. You're a trans. You're this. You're that. No, you're a human who deserves respect and dignity. And they are some of the most respectful people you could ever meet. If you're in their group and they're your friend, they're your friend. But we let these
I
labels take away the love that we should have for people. As a Christian, I didn't even know what love was. I was always judging people. I didn't have love for nobody, not even myself as a Christian.
Mm, mm,
And
mm, mm,
yeah,
mm.
smile. Somebody has, okay, a man has his hair shaved with a red tint, green. I smile because I'm like, they're being authentic.
Mm.
I can do that now. I can be I can see that they're being authentic. He's not trying to come across as a, 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 a straight man in a suit, be trying to impress people. He's being himself, or they're being themselves. But as Christian people, I was always in judgment mode, always saying they're going to hell, and I was going right with them.
Exactly. That's the thing Christians fail to realize. Their book says that the road to destruction is broad. That means Christians are on that road. If anyone's on that road, you with the judgmental finger, you are on the broad road.
Mhm.
It's broad for a reason.
Wrong for a reason. Yeah.
When you're pointing fingers at others and saying
Yeah.
you're going to hell, you're going right with them.
Exactly. We can't even enjoy our children. If our children come to us, and some people, parents, if their children come and say they're on this side or that side, they want to be this, they throw them out of the house. Why can't you just embrace their child and say, I'm here for you? I don't know what to say, but I love you anyway. I love you with all my heart. You're my child. Why do we always have to say, you have to be a man, you have to be a woman? And then they go and go out to the world. They try to find love out there, or they leave here. They unalive themselves because their parents won't accept them the way they are. You think if I had a child standing in front of me that said, Mom, I'm this, I think I want to be that, I would, knowing what I know now, I would embrace them.
Do you know I had a Christian say to me, I pray your sons become gay because you're preaching people you're saying it's okay for people to be gay. I pray that they're gay. And when they said that, I thought to myself, in this person's mind, he thinks that he is doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I have had the conversation with my children. I've said to them, however you identify, whatever you feel, right? Let me be the one you come to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me be the one that you talk to about. If any of my boys comes to me and says, Mom, I'm trans, listen, I would champion you. I would listen. There shouldn't even be a reason why any of them would come to me and say, Mom, I've got something to tell you. This is something that we would have figured it out together. We would have, talked about it. We would have, listen, you got to go to appointments, or let's go. Let's, I would, that's, look, there are no conditions to my love for my
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
There are no conditions. Anyone who, um, loves, oh, I love my children, but they cannot be gay. I love my children, but they cannot be trans. I love my children, but this is it. That means that your love for your children is conditional.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah.
love for your children, the conditions are you have decided to place conditions on your children's love based on sex, based on sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
based on feelings. And that kind of love, who needs that kind of love? You can equally keep, and this is why I say this. For the people who are bigots, the people who, say people cannot be gay, people cannot be trans, you cannot be, you know, listen, if that's the hill you want to die on, go ahead. But you
Mm-hmm.
see, people like us, we will create safe spaces
Yeah.
for the people who are turned away by religion, for the people who are turned away by their communities, by bigots, right? We will create safe spaces. We will create spaces where we say, look, there's nothing wrong with you. You are
Mm-mm.
okay, right? There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And we embrace you just as you are.
Just as you are. Yep. Just as you are. And the church just can't, they just have to put a label on somebody. They just have to say, you're apple, you're orange, you're this, you're that. They can't just let you be free to be you. And like I said, some of the nicest people I've ever met are people who are authentically themselves. They don't have to try to impress me. They don't try to impress nobody but themselves. And I actually see, to me, they're so happy.
Mm,
They seem to have this peace about themselves. The LGBTQ, trans, when you see them, they're smiling. They don't walk around with the resting B face. Like, I started to pay more attention. I'm like, they really seem happy.
mm-hmm,
And I'm like,
mm-hmm,
what did I miss here? Like,
mm,
I just missed so much. And I started to see that, you know, like I said, people in the churches have to judge. They just have to criticize somebody. They have to
yeah,
be conditional. The love has to be conditional. And I'm so
mm, mm,
glad
mm,
now that when I meet somebody, if they're different than me or they look different, it's okay. I might learn something. I might actually learn something from them.
exactly. And this is one of the reasons why I could never be a religious person ever again. It
Yeah.
would never be an option. I mean, find a God if you find a God existing, right? I mean, go ahead, do that.
Hmm.
But religion will never be an option, whatever the religion is. Any religion that tells people you're going to go to hell because of the kind of sex you have, because of your sexuality, because of the friends that you have, because you drink, because you do this and do any religion that says because you can't be this way. Two people ate a fruit in the garden, and now you are deserving of going to hell. Whatever that religion is, you can keep that one to yourself. I really do not care. Um, and they say, "Are you not afraid to go to hell?" I am not afraid.
Mm-mm.
I am not afraid. Oh, but what if you get to the judgment and the judgment and you see? Listen, I will stand before your God and tell him, bring it on. I mean,
Mm-mm.
God, what are you going to do to me? You're going to throw me in hell? Please go ahead. Just start already. I mean, hell, okay, because I did it my way. I
Mm-hmm.
lived my truth. And
Yep.
if I am going to be thrown in this hell because I'm living my truth, go ahead and do it. I'll happily, I'll happily, I'll happily burn.
I have a message for God. I would tell him,
Mm.
low down, priceless piece of crap. Like, why would you keep wasting people's time with that religious mess? That's what I'd love to tell him. I'd love to tell him that.
A message for God. Listen, God don't want to know what I want to tell him. Mhm. He doesn't want to know what I want to say to him. Let him just stay hidden, right? Because that's what he's good. He's good for just staying hidden. I would rather he stays hidden than yeah. Listen, listen. We find him. We will get before we do anything. We're getting in the boxing ring first. We are fighting.
Yeah.
We are fighting. That's number one. Well, I'm not a fighting person, but you see, God, no, I would. I will go get the training done. I would.
You know, in churches, it's still pastors sitting up telling singles these messages every week. Well, save yourself because until God sends you that perfect person in your life, stop telling people that because you're wasting time. Just go out, be
Mm,
somebody, have a good time. If it works, we're sitting up allowing our pastors to tell us when to open our legs and close our legs. That's what I get out of
mm,
that.
mm, mm, mm,
Letting
mm.
tell that God is going to send us somebody, and yet Christians sit around and waste decades waiting for the perfect person to come along, waiting for the person. I don't even know where they expect to meet these people because they're always in church or doing something churchy. So they're not in church, but we sit up and let these pastors dictate to us our sexuality. And it took a long
Mm.
time to wear anything like this little top I have on right here to open
It's
my button.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
But it took me a long time to have an open top. Like normally I would be all buttoned up, like, I had to be religious. I make a brother fall because he saw a little cleavage, like it's just
Of
crazy.
course, of course, you did that. That's on you.
Right,
It's your fault for making the idiot lost. He couldn't keep his gaze. Hmm? He couldn't keep his eyes to himself. No, he had to be looking. But that's your fault. You
right,
didn't dress right.
yeah. So, or wearing an open toe. I remember at the church, and I used to go to Living Word Christian Center in Forest Park, Illinois. Pastor Bill Winston. We could not wear open toe sandals if we to church because they said it would cause a brother to fall. Like, I guess the people that had foot fetishes, I don't know. It was crazy. And now I make sure
Well,
my sandals are
wait,
open.
hold on. Hey,
Yeah,
you can't wear open
no,
toe sandals.
no, nope. It would lead to some kind of lust for people, guys, or whoever, women, whoever had a foot fetish. Yep, you
I
cannot.
only just re- I only just recently found out that people have a foot fetish. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
But to think that churches are now telling people close your feet.
yeah. And you couldn't wear. I don't know if you ever went to a church that said you cannot wear anything sleeveless. You could not wear anything sleeveless because
I
I
grew up in one of
don't.
those. I grew up in one of those churches.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry
You
about
couldn't you couldn't you this you see now the way you and me
that.
with the
Mm-hmm.
church I grew up in, the way you and me are looking,
Mm-hmm.
we are hellbound.
Right. We're
we
Jezebels.
we we you no, we're there. That's hell. We're already there, right? Because number one, we've got our hair on display. That's number one. I've got a bit of jewelry on, right?
Uh,
I've got a bit of, I've got the ring and I've got the jewelry, right? That's a no.
yeah.
You couldn't wear perfume. You couldn't wear deodorant. Do you know we used to go to church on a people used to stink up the hey, and Nigeria, hot country, and you have people sweat. You see all these sweat lines, and they're shaka all over the church, right? And they're walking past you praying. They walk, and the stench coming from you. What is this, right? Ah, we had to have our heads covered. We couldn't wear trousers. Women were not allowed to wear trousers. We had all the clothes had to. You couldn't show your arm. You couldn't. It's just very strict
Mm-hmm.
rules. But the majority of those rules were they only applied to women.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yep.
rule book for the men was that small,
Right. Yep.
but for the women, oh,
I
our
went.
list was long. Went all the way. Mm-mm-mm. Foot
Jerry Walker,
fetish.
he said, "Oh my, foot fetish is no shame, just accept it."
Wait, girl walk, have you got a foot fetish? Girl walk. Has girl walk got a foot fetish? I mean, there's nothing wrong with fetishes, absolutely. I mean, whatever, floats your boat, absolutely. I'm very pro whatever gives you. pleasure. I'm very pro, I'm very um yeah, just free. Go ahead, do you and enjoy. So, oh my, this has been an awesome conversation.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to do? Is there anything that you would ideally, now that you're no longer a Christian, and now that you're uh, uh, enjoying this chapter of your life, is there anything like in the future what you would if everything was in place, if money was not an option, was not a if money was not a problem, right? Everything, what do you see yourself doing?
Oh, to be honest, I love to do TikTok live. I mean, TikTok full time, like a full time creator
Oh,
uh,
how nice.
option. Like I would be on TikTok money, like maybe 5 days a week, like a full time gig. That's what I would do. I would just talk religious activities, talk to people, and kind of have my own little crusade. I don't know if it's a crusade, but just talk to people who are kind of on the fence about coming out about from the church, because they really need that support system. They really need to uh, know that they're not alone. So that's what I would really love to do. Yep. To be honest. Yep.
And there's nothing stopping you.
No.
Nothing stopping you. Well, maybe not 5 times a day.
Right.
Maybe not 5 times. I mean, I've been the last few days. I've been on TikTok. I think for the last four
Oh.
days in a row, 4 or 5 days in a row, and no, 4 days or 3 days. I don't remember now. But yeah, that's because we've had holidays,
Mm-hmm.
and next week we're back to the grind, and so ain't no time for all of that. We'll have to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, cut it back, cut
Yeah.
back on, but it has been a pleasure just having these spaces to be able to um speak, to say the things that we want to say, because we are a minority. This religion is everywhere you look,
Yep.
and so to not be a part of that, you are a minority. And so that's why putting our faces out there, putting our voices out there, right, shows people that you've got us. We're here. We're living the godless life. We're
Yep.
living the life of no belief, no
Right.
belief at all in this God thing, right? And life is good.
Yeah. But the godless life is the life, it's a true, authentic life. And I am so grateful to have found your channel, The Afro Atheist. I know they had shut down one of your channels on TikTok.
Yes, 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 it did.
Those
Yes,
Christians get nice and nasty and mad and start reporting you and lying on you. But I'm so glad that you started another channel, and it has been an honor to be in your presence. Like when I
uh-huh.
first saw your channel and you had like 50,000 subscribe followers, I'm like, oh my goodness, she's the queen
I
of
was
TikTok.
so close. I was so close to 50K. It was 47,000 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
you know something? Um, that's just followers. That's just, it doesn't change the message. It
right,
doesn't
right.
change what we have to say. Nah, it doesn't.
But
Yeah, yeah.
message resonated with me, and I'm like, oh, who is this woman? I'm like, wait a minute. She's talking about being an atheist, and she's a foreign woman. I'm like, let me pay more attention to her, because I know how deep uh,
Religion. Mm,
religion is for certain cultures.
yes.
So I was like, wait a minute, that's not normal. And then I said, wait a minute, I'm not normal either, because I'm over here being a Afro American Christian, ex Christian.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
it's crazy, but I'm so thankful to you being
No, thank you.
talked to. It has been a pleasure and honor. I am so humbled, um,
Mm-mm.
and I appreciate this conversation. Um, I'm just like Thank you for letting the conversation flow. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I'm so grateful.
Yes. And thank you for sharing and also being vulnerable when you spoke about your brother.
Thank
That hit home for me. And I will continue to, be an ally for LGBTQ. And in your brother's honor, we could do something in your brother's honor.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
I would love to do something in your brother's honor. We'll talk about it.
Yes, we will. Thank
Uh,
you. And you
yeah,
just kept
you know,
going. You were like, "You want to come on?" I'm like, "When?" You're like, "Whenever you want to." So, I'm so humbled. I'm just honored to know you and to be in your presence and to be on this platform. It is. I'm just grateful. Very grateful.
yeah, thank you. Because if you hadn't put yourself out there, how was I to find you? How was I gonna find the ex church girl? Because you made your presence known. And listen, your voice, keep using that voice, keep on, don't stop, keep putting, I mean, content. Somebody said anything is content. Anything, sit there in front of the camera, say what you need to say, and off you go. Just anything. But I mean, you just listening to you and how sweet and how kind you are. Oh,
And thank you.
adorable. Adorable. Thank you so much. Everyone, listen, you all, thank you all so much.
Uh,
Please, okay, one last time, let me put her link. If you've got a TikTok, please make sure to I would put the link in the description of this video later on. But yeah, that should, let's see here. And
thank you.
everyone that's listening, everyone that supports us, everyone that champions us, everyone that validates us, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. So, let's see. Right, okay. Appreciate the one openness and vulnerability. Thank you, Gay Walk. Let's see. Delightful conversation. Thanks for sharing. Postcard life. These are some of my avid supporters. I mean, oh, yes. Hey, Beatrix Munch. Good to see you. She said, so sorry about your brother, Beatrix says. Um, you should define you, no one
Hmm,
else.
like, thank you.
You see me, you see the me that is me. The me that is me is very complex. The me that is this person is very complex. Nobody can define me. Even I'm still trying to define me. So imagine someone trying to define me. Oh, good. Listen, you can't win. You just cannot win because this me very complex. It's all over the place. So yes, Alpha Charm. Thank you. Right. Have a good evening to you too. Lovely conversation. Thank you all so much. Anyway, everybody, I'm gonna let the ex church girl go. But yes, thank you. Yes, I do appreciate you both an inspiration. I'm glad you both left that toxic religion. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, please do not fail to give the stream a thumbs up. Right, it helps the algorithm, it helps to get more and more people tuning in, more and more people subscribing, more and more people tuning in. What are these black women talking about leaving the church? Hey. So yes, go ahead and do that. Anyway, everybody, thank you all so much. And yeah, look out for me again, and look out for myself and the ex church girl. We will do something in the honor of your brother, and I'm sure people will support. We will talk. We will think of something. I don't know. We might have to think of what did your brother like? What did he, what gave him pleasure? What,
Mhm.
yeah, just something in his honor
Okay.
would be fantastic and amazing. Right, everyone. Good night, and I will see you all real soon.
talking, I know you feel the beat. Do you feel the rhythm all the way? Can you see the vision? Everything in this world will be okay. Can we be together all the way? I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. Nights in California, fly passing homes, yeah, right by sunset colored skies. Chilling by the ocean, driving up the mountain, soaked in the endless beauty all of you. You know it feels alright, alright. Yeah. Can you see the vision? Everything in this world will be okay. Can we be together all the way? I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing,